And he, of course, has been kind of a nuisance for this team of late. He remains absent from the Nets for personal reasons and under league investigation for potentially violating COVID-19 protocols. So you have Harden, you have Kevin Durant, and you have Kyrie Irving. I mean, how does he fit back into this equation, assuming he wants to come back, Woj?
Well, he's going to have to fit back into it. But what the Nets did here by getting James Harden, listen, they know that Kevin Durant is going to be coming back up on free agency in 2 years. You're always thinking about that. And now they have having James Harden there, that helps to solidify keeping Kevin Durant, who has come off this Achilles injury, playing at his old form as an MVP level player. And so Kyrie Irving can rejoin this team. He can recommit to this organization. And you have three MVP level players together. And if he doesn't want to be a part of it or it's not going to work out, well, you've got James Harden now. And certainly they paid a great price for it. But Brooklyn, if nothing else, they got themselves a pretty significant insurance policy on Kevin Durant's future with the Nets.
Yeah, we know Kevin Durant and James Harden had been communicating. They wanted this to happen. They both get their way. We'll see what happens with Kyrie. By the way, all three guys making more than $30 million a year, too. Interesting to see how the financial part of this plays out. What about the Pacers, Woj, and Victor Oladipo? We heard when they were in the bubble that Oladipo disgruntled somewhat with the Pacers, and then he kind of went quiet about it. How did that part of the deal go down with Indiana?
Well, Houston was looking in this deal to move Caris LeVert to another team. They wanted to see, in the marketplace, what it would bring them back. They didn't value LeVert the way some other teams might. I think Caris LeVert is a great fit for this Indiana team with Malcolm Brogdon and Domantas Sabonis. A very good infrastructure there. I think the relationship between Victor Oladipo and the Pacers, they were ready to move on from each other ultimately, and now Oladipo goes to Houston. We'll see if Oladipo stays in Houston through the trade deadline. They could move him again in early March, see what assets are there, or they could look to re-sign him. He'll be a free agent at the end of the season.
Wow. Deep breath for all of us here as we try to take in all that went down over the last couple of hours. Adrian Wojnarowski with the very latest. Thank you so much for the breakdown. In the meantime, Woj mentioned just a second ago about James Harden and his comments last night that actually the deal was kind of in the works and James Harden knew that. But if you're just catching up and hearing it for the first time, this specifically is what Harden said last night after getting blown out by the Lakers that caused ripples.
We're just not good enough. We don't obviously chemistry, talent-wise, just everything. And it was clear. I love this city. I literally have done everything that I can. I mean, this situation is crazy. It's something that I don't think can be fixed. So, yeah.
In my 11 years being in the league, I've been on a team like that my first 5 years where it was all about me, not about the team. And that hurts. And it brings everybody down. So when we can get all on the same page, we can be something good here. And we can't dwell down on it because it's only been 9 games. Like, come on, man. You want to jump off the cliff off of 9 games? There's a lot of basketball still to be played.
John Wall and James Harden last night. For much more, let's bring in Stephen A. Smith. You're the first person I thought of when I heard about this trade. Your reaction?
Following this breaking news, James Harden shipped away from Houston, now will be joining the Brooklyn Nets. This reported by Adrian Wojnarowski and Ramona Shelburne. And now Adrian Wojnarowski joining us here on NFL Live to give you all the details on this. So Woj, lay it out for us. What do we know about how this happened and how we got to this point?
First, guys, I am thrilled to be on this show. You guys know how much I love watching you guys. But
you're the man,
listen, this is a massive deal all around. Listen, for the Brooklyn Nets to go out and get James Harden, this was something that Kevin Durant very much wanted. He and Harden started talking about this months ago. And listen, with the uncertainty surrounding Kyrie Irving right now, and I think there's still hope, expectation, he returns and plays for this team. You remember, free agency comes back upon you pretty quick in this league. Kevin Durant's in the second year of a 4-year deal, and getting Harden, that's another reason for Durant to want to stay. But now, if you get Irving back and he's back to playing at a high level, you have a 1-2-3, perhaps unlike we've seen in this league in the modern era, but certainly it comes at a steep price 4 first-round picks, 4 pick swaps. The picks are unprotected. One of those picks is coming from Cleveland. This is part of a 3-way deal, really a 4-way deal. Karis LeVert goes from the Nets to the Indiana Pacers, and Indiana sends Victor Oladipo to Houston. So a lot of moving parts in this deal.
Yeah, you mentioned some of those moving parts, and the Kyrie piece of this is really interesting. I want to get back to that, but let's talk about this 4-team deal. Give us a little more detail on the second level part of this, other than just James Harden joining the Nets.
Well, I think this was a deal really that came together in the last couple days, and Philadelphia was very much in pursuit of James Harden. Obviously, Daryl Morey, their president, traded for him in Houston, won a great deal with him. But ultimately, this Nets deal, this package, bringing Cleveland into it, got it done. And I think for Houston, you look at them, remember, they gave up a lot of picks in that Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook deal. They get them back and then some, and it gives the Rockets now, their new GM, Rafael Stone, an ability to start a rebuild. Victor Oladipo's in the last year of his contract. You know, they can see how that goes. Do they want to re-sign him? Does he want to be there? But certainly a blockbuster deal by any standard in the NBA, and it is going to be fascinating to see Harden and Kevin Durant reunited in Brooklyn. Obviously, they played in Oklahoma City together, and then Kyrie Irving likely, potentially, you would expect at some point as part of that mix too.
Wow. As all this was coming down, Woj, on your Twitter, it was like looking around like, wow, what else is going to be added to this? But just to recap for everybody, we see James Harden go from Houston to the Brooklyn Nets, joining up with Kevin Durant, something that he wanted to do. Thanks so much to Woj for joining us here on NFL Live. Much more coverage on this James Harden blockbuster trade at 6 Eastern on SportsCenter. Keep it locked right here on ESPN. We'll have all the breakdown. Woj, of course, continuing to keep everybody up to date on all of this. We'll be back on NFL Live in...
It doesn't work out. These stars move on. They move forward. Eventually, they get what they want. They tried. The Rockets tried. They asked James Harden to come back. They had a couple of games with him on the court, and it did not work out. The only way that I see this going from here on out, Perk said it, they're headed towards a divorce.
Yeah, and it's not just the sort of situation right now that he said it's not working. Malika, how do you see James' self-awareness overall impacting the situation?
Well, I think that it's playing a part in it. It's hard when you're listening to John Wall, when you're listening to DeMarcus Cousins, hearing them say that this isn't the first time that the disrespect has shown up. This isn't the first time that they're feeling this way. It's hard to want to go out on the court and be focused on performing as a unit when you have one guy saying that this just isn't good enough. Oh, and by the way, that one guy is your franchise player. That's where the question comes up of whether or not James Harden can put himself into a 20,000-foot position and say, hey, looking down on this situation, I see my role in it. I see how I am impacting my teammates. I see the role that I am playing here, and I need to leave so that they can continue. Right now, it looks like James is putting everything out and not turning the mirrors back in on himself.
Perk, where would you rather him go? He's rumored to be going to either Brooklyn or Philadelphia. Where would you rather see him?
Well, to be honest with me, I think the best fit for the Rockets is for James to go to Philly because they're going to probably get back Ben Simmons. And James in Philadelphia, along with how Joel Embiid is playing right now, Danny Green is playing awesome, Seth Curry is playing elite basketball, and coached under Doc Rivers, they will be really dangerous in the Eastern Conference, and it will make it that more competitive to the Milwaukee Bucks, to the Brooklyn Nets. The reason that if I'm James, I wouldn't want to go to the Brooklyn Nets because I don't know what's going on with Kyrie. You go in there to think that you're going to play with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and then all of a sudden Kyrie Irving, you get in the first round of the playoffs and no one hears from him. He's nowhere to be found. So if I'm James, I'm looking at structure, I'm looking at what's going on, and I'm evaluating both of these ball clubs. And right now, Philly looks like the best ball club for him to go to.
Well, it's funny you should say that, Perk, because we are going to get back to the Rockets later in the show, but I do want to debut our latest Jump Show.
Does James Harden get traded? No. Does he gain 7 pounds sitting at home today? Yes.
Perk.
Whoa! Whoa! Tick, 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 tick. We got 15 minutes. So as much as I would like to give you an exciting answer, with 15 minutes, I'm going no, but it looks like it's going to happen soon. Tick, 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 tick.
Zach, you're spoiled sport.